So about a week ago, I installed this Ecosmart 11 tankless electric hot water heater into my house. There was some touch and go moments, but it is working perfectly now. And the most important thing to remember, if you choose to go the electric tankless hot water heater, is that it can only do so much work. The Ecosmart 11 is rated at 11 kilowatts. The box says 13 kilowatts. The internet says 11.8. Whatever it is, it can only do so much work. The thing to keep in mind about whether or not this will work for you is your water inlet temperature and also the amount of water that you're going to flow through it. So if you want to flow 1 gallon a minute, it can raise the temperature a lot, maybe 60, 70 degrees or something. But if you're flowing 2 gallons a minute through it, it might only be able to raise the temperature, 30 degrees or something. And so what that means is that to get this unit to work for me in north central Texas during the winter when my water inlet temperatures are quite low, I had to address some leaks and replace some faucets with some more water efficient units. What I've measured around low 50s up to 56 degrees on these various days of water inlet temperature, I'm right around 1.5 gallons a minute is all that this unit can reliably heat up to operating temperature. I mean, it's pretty finite. My kitchen faucet flows 1.8 gallons a minute. When I have it all the way open on hot, it comes out warm, but it doesn't come out hot. I pull it back just slightly, and there you go, it gets hot. And the same thing is true in the bathroom sink and the shower. And getting a nice, reliable hot shower was what it was all about. So this unit is tiny, okay? I mean, it's like 11.5 inches by 8 inches. It's the size of a prepaid postage box. And because of its form factor, I decided to install it in my kitchen. And so to supply the water to it, I tapped into the lines for the washing machine. And this allowed me to get the unit just much closer to all the hot water taps, so I can have quicker on-demand water than where my tank hot water heater was all the way across the house. I mean, it took minutes to get hot water to the kitchen sink. Now it takes 30 seconds or something. So it's a drastic improvement having the smaller form factor of the hot water heater and being able to put it closer to where it actually needs to be. Today is 20 degrees and I just had one of the best, hottest, hurting my love handles showers that I've had in a long time. I'm totally happy with it now that I've upgraded to some more water efficient faucets, and it might be right for you. So in this video, I'm going to install this thing, do some math, do some practical experiments, running faucets in buckets, measuring water temperatures, and just sort of show you how I came to the conclusion that I can only flow 1.5 gallons a minute during winter time in north central Texas, and how the math can back it up, how the box said what it could do all along. It's just they put so many numbers on there, it sort of confuses you as to the capabilities of this hot water heater. Hey, today I'm going to install this Ecosmart Eco 11 electric tankless hot water heater. I bought this, even though it's on the smaller side. I think since I live in north central Texas, I can run my house off of it. I have a pretty small house with only a few faucets in it, single bathroom, it might do the trick. It has this handy dandy chart, I guess gives some loose connection to reality, and it claims that I'm in this yellow zone where the average inlet temperature is 62 degrees. That varies somewhat. I put a thermometer in a cup of tap water, let it run for a minute, and right now in winter I'm at 56 degrees, and so that bumps you way down to these green colors in climate. But in the summertime, the tap water is so warm, like it's not that unpleasant to take a cold shower. This might be problematic during the winter, and I imagine it would definitely work during the summer. But anyways, let's just see what's inside. Very small unit. All right, so the dimensions on the box say it's 11.5 inches high, 8 inches wide, and 3 3/4 inches deep. Then you also get some paperwork and some fittings and the knob. Then it comes with some registration papers, a template for installing it, a warning about don't return it to the store, call us and we'll help you install it, an instruction manual. Going over the instructions, there's a few things that stand out. It says, you know, after it's installed, open several hot water faucets and allow water to run through the water heater for at least 2 to 3 minutes. This process purges all of the air from the water lines. Failure to follow this step can cause permanent damage to the heating elements. So the heating elements, you know, they're water cooled, right? So you know, they transfer the heat to the water. So if you run it without water in it, you'll break it. And then another thing is, since this product does not use a storage tank, the use of a temperature pressure relief valve, TMP, is not required for most installations, except for if it's required by your local code. And if you're a DIYer, you know, you do up to code as you see fit. And then it says we recommend the manual shutoff valve be installed on the inlet and the outlet for, you know, convenience of service. So that's the water. Now for the electrical, all it really says is install it in accordance with all applicable national, state, provincial, and local electrical codes. And so you know, a lot of people online, I've seen them installing them with a, you know, manual disconnect like what you have on your, you know, air conditioning unit outside or something, which is a good idea and probably up to code. And then lastly, the most concerning, the flow regulator, which is optional. It says, to ensure the optimal temperature output and overall performance of your tankless water heater, you may require a flow regulator. So the Eco 11, which I have, it has these lower temperature numbers, 40 degree, you know, inlet water temperatures of 40, 50, 60, and 70. And so it's talking about putting in flow regulators for those temperatures as low as 1 gallon per minute, and up in the 70 degree, 2 gallon per minute. So you know, it'd be really easy to outflow this device's ability to produce hot water. That's interesting. All right, so here's a quick tour of my house. So we have the kitchen sink and the washing machine in the kitchen, and then on the other side of this wall we hit the bathroom. So, you know, all the hot water taps, you know, more or less share the same wall. And so there's the tub and the lavatory sink. But at the end of the hallway is where the hot water heater is. So it's always taken forever to get the hot water through these 1/2-inch pipes, you know, because it goes down to the floor and it goes over to the edge of the house, and then it travels across the edge of the house until it finally splits over by the tub over there, and then it branches off and it feeds, you know, these sinks. So this little unit is tiny, and I'm kind of thinking about just wall mounting it right here behind my washing machine. We got hot and cold back here, and this thing, this would fit perfect right there, don't you think? This is the longest run from my electric box out of any of the, you know, if I was to mount this under the sink or something. But since I don't need a pressure valve, you know, I can just get my hot and cold, just put a T into the lines here and just get the hot and cold. This house doesn't even have an attic, You know, it's roof. Let me show you. The roof is framed with 2x6s, and so the decking's on top of the 2x6, and the ceiling is on the bottom of the 2x6. This is a very lightly constructed 1962 house. So I will be going under the house to run electric, I think. I just think that'd be easier than drilling through all the cabinets, because there's a good crawl space there that's pretty easy to navigate. You know, alternatively, I could try to mount it under the kitchen sink or even under the bathroom sink. But I gotta admit, I kind of like the idea of having this right here where I can see it and I can point to it and be like, oh yeah, that's my hot water heater. And people are like, what? Are you serious? Like, yeah, that's all it is. I think that'd be funny. But only during summertime when it's putting out some real hot water. Maybe I'll hide it during the winter when it's not performing so well. Alright, I don't have a real good conceptual understanding of what 2 gallons a minute flow is, but this, I got this bucket with graduated marks in it. It's a 12-quart bucket that can hold, 3 gallons total. The 2-gallon mark is right above the rim of the bucket, this bottom rim. So I'm just going to do a timer. Will that rocket out on me? Let me... Oh, shit! 20 seconds, maybe 1.5 gallons. And this is only partially cracked open. 30 seconds, we're almost there. So 2 gallons at 34 seconds from this little garden hose thing. So that's that flows pretty good. Restricting my water use to 2 gallons a minute. That's going to be tricky. Alright, so my kitchen faucet is a high efficiency one. So this is a low flow. It's a low flow one. So I don't have hot water because the hot water tank is busted and leaking everywhere. I turned it off. So let's test this one. We'll see what this does. So this faucet would definitely work with this hot water heater, because we're already at a minute and we're not to 2 gallons yet. But the tub, I don't think the tub is gonna do it. Well, let's just see what happens. All right, so the tub has about twice the flow that the hot water heater can handle, which you can fill the tub slower if you lose hot water, I guess. And if you're mixing it, if you had like half hot, half cold, maybe it'd be in there. So the bathtub, questionable. Okay, 2 gallons and 27.89 gigawatts. Okay, so the shower is another complication, because what happens with the shower is so it flows an amount of water, but then also the spigot leaks an amount of water. All right, so with some vague belief that I can, we're leaking a lot of water here. Where was I? Oh yeah, but with some, practical test of water flow, I think this is going to work for me. And now I just need to buy some parts and get this done. We're going to have to put in a 60 amp breaker for this service, right? Let's just pop it on. I've added this piece of conduit because I think the easiest way for me to do this, since I don't have any attic, and I don't know, I just didn't see a direct path for running power than drilling through all the cabinets, is I'm going to just feed this 6 gauge wire. So this is insane, right? Big wire, hard to bend, but it's braided, so it is bendable. I'll be going through the crawl space. All right, so using my template, I have marked where I want this thing to go. And it's sort of, you know, I got it centered between the water lines and enough of a place down from this lamp that I can, you know, hook it and slide it onto the screws. I'm going to be using a wall anchor that, you know, goes in, turns sideways, and then it sort of works like a zip tie, and you push that down. So it requires a 1/2 inch hole. So I'm going to drill my holes real quick. There's wood right there. I can anchor to wood there, and then I'll use my wall anchors in these two. All right, so what I did is I sort of used a backing nut to sort of get the sheetrock mounts tight. You see that? So I put a washer behind a nut, and then I'd hold it, and I can get it as tight as I want it to get. The way this mounts is real simple. So there's no drilling through it. It just hooks on a screw. So let's see if I've got that where it will mount or not. Oh yeah, that feels pretty good. And with the screws out the bottom here, the top comes off. And then I'm going to get my electric. I just need to do some adjustments here, and I'm gonna make it complicated. I'm gonna put it in a box, and then I'm gonna use a flexible conduit to the box. So it's gonna look better in my mind. All right, so I got this thing installed, and it's been used for 2 showers so far. I had a glorious shower, and then I was gonna show off to my girlfriend like how awesome I am. Look, I installed the thing. And then she would take a shower and described it as barely tolerable. So yeah, I've been fussing around trying to figure out, you know, what's wrong. And it turns out that my hot water valve in the shower has gone bad. It got a hole in it, and this puck thing was inflating like a balloon, restricting the flow of water. And then today, as I was messing with it, it started inflating to the point it just shut the water off completely. So I got to fix that before I can have any more good showers. Alright, so this is the old puck. And so as I actuate it, you can sort of see how much it leaks. Can you see that? Let's get close. You see how there's water underneath it? So the water comes into the center, and then you open the valve and it flows around the outside of the inlet tube. So the water pressure's in the middle, and it was causing this to inflate and keep the water off. So it started slowly with a slow leak, right? I mean low flow, and then it eventually progressed to no flow. So let me get the new one on here. And it's always a good idea to lube these things. I got some of this, you know, valve grease. So I'm gonna lube this up pretty good. Plop that back in and reassemble and give it another shot. All right, cool. So we got water again. Okay. Hopefully this next time I force her to take a shower with my flash heater, it'll work. Let's open it up. So what it has is it has 2 electric heating elements in it. They're probably just like the heating elements that go inside of an electric hot water heater, but there's 2 of them here. So the water comes in, it flows past one element, then up past another element, then it comes out hot. It has this knob on it, so one click will turn the unit off or turn it on, and you can control it from 80 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you hold it for 3 seconds, you get to the Celsius. So I'm a little confused by how much power it uses. The box says that it is a 13 kilowatt unit. But the website page for the Eco 11 says it's 11.8 kilowatt unit. So whatever the wattage is, I guess it doesn't really matter. It's somewhere around 11 to 13 kilowatts. It is a fixed number. Those elements can only get so hot and change the temperature of water so much. So it's important to know your water temperature and also how much the faucets and spigots or whatever you want to run hot flows, how much water it flows per minute. So I straight up live right here in the yellow, north central Texas. And for yellow, it says that it would work for a shower head and a tap of some sort. So represents a water saver shower head, open full with 1.5 gallon per minute flow. So that's an important number to know, 1.5 gallon per minute flow. A sink faucet open full with a flow of 0.5 gallon a minute. You know, I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. All the numbers and all this stuff are just, it's a confusing thing to read. They don't match, but whatever. The unit, it does work, and it's reviewed fairly well, so there's that. But these numbers are confusing. The other thing that it says on here is that my average inlet temperature is 62 degrees Fahrenheit. So that would be a annual average. You know, in the wintertime it's lower, in the summertime it's higher. And I can tell you that when it's cold outside, I straight up get condensation on the outside of the inlet pipe. So it's coming in pretty cold. First time I measured it was 54, but we're going to do some more measuring in a little bit. And then what it comes out as is if the temperature of the water and the flow across those elements is, you know, compatible with the amount of energy you're putting into the water, the outlet will be the temperature that you set it at. So 11.8 or 13 kilowatts is a lot of power. And the instructions say it needs a 60 amp breaker and a 6 gauge wire, three 6 gauge wires go into the unit. And so just to put this in perspective visually, my 125 amp service goes through whatever gauge this wire is, and then about half the size is what the hot water heater consumes alone. My tankless hot water heater, what's it called? My mini split air conditioner with 3 zones, it uses a 14 gauge wire. So, you know, it uses a lot of power. It needs a lot of supply for flash heating water. So on their website for the Eco 11, it says that it can provide continuous hot water at up to 2.6 gallons per minute, supporting a bathroom, shower, or kitchen sink. And I guess that's what it means by having the two images here. You have the 1.5 gallon water shower head image, and then you have the water faucet image. So 1.5 plus 0.5 is 2. So the box is saying it can handle 2 gallons a minute. The website is saying it can handle 2.6. Maybe it can handle 2.6 if you have higher inlet temperatures. But you know, even here where your average water temperature is 77 degrees Fahrenheit, you know, it says 3.2. So again, all the numbers that they're claiming are dubious. They're confusing. But let's do a practical experiment with my kitchen sink. And yes, that is a different kitchen faucet than I had earlier in the video. It got clogged up with a bunch of debris, and I don't know exactly what caused that. Maybe flowing, you know, water backwards through the hot water line kicked up stuff that's in the line. Maybe because I was, you know, soldering, you know, sweating new fittings onto the copper, that the heat caused it to shed a bunch of junk off of the inside of the pipe. but every tap got clogged up, and as I was trying to clean out the diverter valve that, you know, it sends the water from the kitchen faucet to the little handheld thing, I broke it. And then I went to Ace Hardware. They didn't have one. It's only a $3 part, but they didn't have one. I started thinking about it. You know, whatever. I'll buy a new faucet. So I bought a new faucet. 75 bucks. Whoops. I'm going to take my container with graduated marks on it so I know how much volume I'm filling it up, coupled with a timer, and we're going to see what the flow is out of just the hot from my kitchen sink. So I'm going to start and open it. All right, 1 minute. We're in between 6 and 7 quarts. We're above 1.5 gallons a minute flow from this, you know, water conserving faucet. Running this faucet full blast into a mason jar with a thermometer in it. It's warm to the touch, but it's not as hot as when I restrict the flow. So let's see where we're at. Right around 105 degrees. So at 1.7 gallons a minute, we're reaching that 105 degree mark. But what's weird is when I slow the flow down, it'll get hotter. We'll come back once it reaches full temperature. So I'm just here barely cracked open. All right, same experiment, but with the tap less open. We are at about 112 or so. So it got much warmer with less flow. So the question is, how much? No, that's not the question. The question is, why is that? So now let's check the temperature of the cold. All right, the cold water is flowing. Let's check its temperature. So, where are we? We're 56? Is that what that is? Maybe 54, 55, 56. Somewhere around that point. So, here in north central Texas, it's currently, what is today? The 18th of February, okay? So, my inlet temperature is, let's say 56 degrees. And then this thing running full blast at 1.7 gallons per minute was able to bring it up to 105. So let's say that's 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 100 and, well, hell, I don't know. Let's call it 50 degrees, right? So it changed the temperature about 50 degrees. That's what, at 1.7 gallons a minute, a 11.8 or possibly 13 kilowatt electric hot water heater changed the temperature around 50 degrees. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of power being consumed to do a fair amount of work to rapidly change the temperature of the water. But that's on this super low flow, highly efficient faucet here. It's actually rated for 1.8 gallons a minute, and my bucket, I measured it at 1.7 gallons a minute. Okay, so this is the bathroom faucet flowing hot, full blast, all the way open valve. Let's see what it's flowing. So I'm gonna start it. It's filling up pretty fast. Okay, so I stopped the time right at 30 seconds. And we nearly have 2 gallons of water in this bucket. So its flow per minute is just under 4 gallons a minute. And that way outpaces what this flash heater can handle. So flowing the nearly 4 gallons a minute, we are at right around 80 degrees. It's already dropping. It was it 80? Oh shit, let's do it again. Right below 80. I would qualify that at 79, 78 degrees. So obviously, to bring the temperature up from, you know, 56 up to 79 or 78 is doing a lot of work. The hot water heater is working. We're just pushing more water past it than it's capable of heating up to the temperature that we set it at. And the temperature we set it at, 105. I haven't changed that at all. So when you flow it slow, it's hotter than 105. You flow it at, you know, 1.7 gallons a minute, it's 105. So, you know, what that means is, in order to get a hot shower or fill the tub with this Eco 11, you have to not open the valves all the way. So let's do less water flow, and let's see if what that looks like in the shower. Okay, so that's kind of a that's a little bit sad looking, but it's not the worst. Let's just let that get to operating temperature real quick. So even at this low flow with kind of a sad looking shower, we're just around 100 degrees. Before it changes, we're right around 100 degrees. So we're not to operating temperature. We're already outpacing the flow. Let's just see what that is real quick. What a sad shower looks like. Okay, so sad shower, 1 minute is flowing below 2 gallons a minute, and it's 100 degrees. Now let's see extra sad shower. Let's see if we can get this temperature up to operating temperature. Okay. So I'm at the 105 I set it at. We know if we flow a lot less, we can get quite a bit higher. But we're at, oh, actually, we're doing a little bit better. This thermometer is now, you see that? We're around 106. To get 106 degrees out of, which is, this feels good. I could enjoy that shower. To get 106 degrees out of this shower, which feels good, that's the level of sad shower that you have to take. Okay? Let's see how many gallons a minute we're flowing to get an extra sad shower. Okay, 1 minute of flow, extra sad shower flow rate. 105 degrees, and we're at, man, I don't know, we're down around 6 quarts, man. 6 quarts, that's 1.5 gallons. That's exactly what the box said, 1.5 gallons a minute flow. So you'd have to have a very, I guess, efficient shower head to get hot showers. Just know that. Yeah. Okay, so we have seen the performance of the Eco 11 in north central Texas during the winter with 56 degree inlet water temperatures. It's discouraging. But Ecosmart makes all sorts of models. Look at this. The tiny little POU 4T. I would rate that as useless. The POU 3.5, useless. The POU 6T6, the Eco 8, I bet those are just totally useless in winter. The Eco 11, it can actually, you can survive on the temperatures it's making here in north central Texas. You can survive on that, but it's not fun. You might need to go to a model like the Eco 18. The Eco 18, let's see its details. The Eco 18 is 18 kilowatts, and it has 3 heating elements, I believe. No, it's still just two heating elements. So they have little pictures that you can look in there. So see, the Eco 18 is still just two heating elements, but they're much more robust. So the Eco 18, I bet, could handle a north central Texas winter water inlet temperature and give you a fine shower. Now, I feel like I've been a little mean on it, but I'm just being real. This thing isn't quite adequate for North Texas winters. And imagine, you know, the snowpocalypse we had a couple of years ago. We were down to 0 degrees. Or I don't know what our water inlet temperatures were, but pipes were freezing everywhere. It wouldn't do anything. Wouldn't touch it. You'd just be without hot water. You'd be useless. But the Eco 18 probably can handle year-round temperatures for this region. However, the Ecosmart 11, I bet this thing is going to be amazing all spring, all summer, and all fall. You know, I bet this thing is going to be just perfectly adequate for whatever our temperatures are. The you know, having my hand in the water that was around, you know, below 100, around 80, I don't know. That feels like some of the temperatures we get from tap water in the summertime. Sometimes you get a cup of tap water to drink and it almost feels warm, you know. So this thing is going to function great in the middle of summer. I think it's going to function as designed. Well, no, I think it's functioning as designed. We proved that by the 1.5 gallon per minute number. But it's going to function the way you expect it to, spring and fall in north central Texas. And then wintertime, you're going to be disappointed from time to time. Every time you get some cooler weather, like last night was, you know, 20-something degrees, you know, it's you're going to regret it. So what we have here is I underbought. I got on YouTube. I watched a bunch of videos. I read a bunch of reviews. A lot of people are very happy with this. And I think they had made those videos and wrote those reviews in summertime. It's just not quite enough, in my opinion. And if you're going to sell your spouse, your significant other, on some sort of flash hot water heater, you need it to work well enough that they're willing to use it. So I don't know. It's here. It's installed. I'm not returning it. It's going to be great for whatever. It does bring hot water to all my faucets faster than my hot water heater tank way across the house. I don't know why it was installed, but it's over by the bedrooms, and it's just one wall that has all the hot water taps on it. I'm in the kitchen. Other side of this wall is the bathroom. It just makes sense to have the hot water heater this close just to heat everything up. So I'm not getting rid of it. I already spent the money, the effort to install this thing. I'm just saying, if you live up north, this will not cut it for most of the year. Maybe none of the year. Down here in the south, I'm still not quite far south enough for this thing to get me through the winter months. Okay, so since I'm not going to return the flash hot water heater, I'm going to just be happy with it. I need to overcome this problem some other way. And so a more efficient shower head would be one way to do it. This one's rated at 2.5 gallons a minute. So you have to have the water turned up pretty high to get enough pressure to feel like you're getting a decent shower. There's tons of 1.5 gallon a minute shower heads out there, which I think would allow me to have the pressure of a shower head you want and have hot water during the winter. I also need to overcome the tub diverter. So this thing, it leaks a lot, and there's like 0 leak models available that actually have a quarter turn valve where you just shut it off out here and everything comes out the top. So there's options for having no leak out of your diverter valve. I was looking at one product for a shower head just because I don't want to make the wrong choice. Let's see. So this it's cheap. It's $15 $99. Where's the camera? Yeah, so it's $15.99, and it has 3 flow options. It has a half-gallon flow, a 1, and a 1.5 gallon flow. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to buy this one. I was just looking. Some Niagara thing. Niagara Conservation. The Trimax shower head. So it gives you options and flexibility. That's kind of nice. They say that the problem with going too low in the flow, like when you get down to like the half gallon a minute, you still have the pressure and it feels like you're taking a shower, but apparently the water droplets or something, they get so small that they start to lose their heat just from traveling from the head to your body. So it never feels like you're getting a hot shower. And so apparently that's a problem with the ultra low flow options. But you know, I think what I've been reading, a gallon to a gallon and a half a minute, you know, people sound like that feels like a real shower to them. So I don't know. All right, so I'm going to replace my shower head. This one is rated at 2.5 gallons a minute, and I have bought this Niagara Conservation hand shower, you know, with a wand, and it's rated for 1.5 gallons a minute. So the idea behind having an actual shower head that's rated for low flow is when I restrict the flow of this 2.5 gallon a minute shower head with the, you know, not opening the faucet all the way, I lose all the pressure, you know, because the pressure is built into the system. It's in the water line, and when you have, you know, restricting the flow, the next thing you know, you just get a little sad little drip. So being able to have the faucet open and a column of water all the way up to here that's under pressure, that will allow this thing to actually have the velocity of water that feels luxurious, right? This is pretty cheap. Maybe bought it on Amazon. I think it was like $27. You know, that's a decent price. And the reviews, everyone's like, hey, I like it well enough. It doesn't suck. But a lot of people were complaining about how hard it is to keep it from leaking. So I guess, you know, I don't know. A lot of bad reviews saying, oh, I had to try to install it 3 times before I got it to not squirt water out of it when I turn it on. All right, so just to save myself a little bit of heartache, I'm going to put Teflon tape on here. There already was Teflon tape on here from the previous one, so I don't think the problem of leaking from the shower head is just a problem of low flow shower heads. I swear I can do this. Oh, I'm just going to do a few loops around here. I'm really having trouble here. What am I struggling? 3 or 4 passes. So there is a O-ring and a screen in this, and this big chunk here, this is a vacuum brake, so it won't siphon back into the water system, although I'm not real sure how it would manage to do that in the first place. So I'm going to be sure just to get this decently tight. This part here is actually metal. The rest of it's plastic like the old one. So I really don't know how much trouble they're having. That's real freaking tight. I'm just going to try that. Alright, let's see the maiden voyage of this thing. Get the water flowing, shut the valve. No leaks. Good pressure though. I mean, that's probably going to be pretty luxurious feeling. So one problem is we're losing a lot of water down here. I'm going to go ahead and measure that. See, we're losing a ton of water from the tub diverter. 1 minute. Okay. We're losing more water leaking from the tub diverter than is what is coming out of the shower head. So 100% have to do something about that. This one, I'm pretty sure it's original to the house, because it was. Let's see if I can get it loose that way. Now I need a tool, because it's so well built. You know, it's a very classic design. So yeah, I need to either buy a new one or see if I can fix it. Okay, so my camera died at some point, but anyways, I took this off with a pipe wrench, and it's a 3/4 inch. I think that's 3/4 inch pipe. I'm not real sure how this thing is constructed and how it can be fixed, so I'll probably just buy a new one. I kind of think that there's this inside will screw out of here, but I'm not sure how to get a bite on that. Alright, I bought a new bathtub spout, and so this, you know, this is for the iron nipple, and the instructions say, you know, use Teflon tape and only hand tighten. This pipe I have doesn't stick out very far, so we'll have to see. There we go. Hand tighten. Oh Lord, that's about all she's got. We'll have to see if that leaks though. That's pretty good. It still leaks, but just a tiny bit. I kind of like one that doesn't leak at all, and they sell those, but I'd have to wait a week for it to get shipped to me, because I haven't found one in a store. Okay, but here we are. The tub spout's not leaking. High efficiency shower head. You know, it's, the water is hot. I turned the flash heater down to 100. Creeping up on 104. I mean, it's hot enough to be steamy in here. Because yeah, it's 104. Let's see if I can get it to you before it changes. Yeah. So, you know, hot and steamy, 1.5 gallons per minute, no leaks. I mean, that's exactly what we wanted. I'm gonna, at some point, through trial and error, figure out exactly what temperature it is I want. 105 was a little hot. It wasn't unbearable, but it was hot enough that it, like, you know, when you turn around in the shower, it would hurt, you know? It's like, ooh, hot, and then you get used to it. So I'm gonna try 100 and see if that's more my temperature range or not. And so yeah, you know what? Why heat water up hotter than you need to be, wasting energy just to blend cold into it to get it where you want it? You know, I'm thinking just remembering the temperature that I like, and if I need hotter water, I'll crank it up and then put it back to where I wanted it. Because, you know, it might be nice, like if you're filling up a mop bucket, just to max this thing out and get real nice hot water, and then set it back to where you want to use it for day-to-day stuff. I don't know. I'm going under the house. I'm gonna insulate my pipes a bit. You know, since I'm already in the work mood, might as well do something I should have done a long time ago. Because during the snowpocalypse, I did have the pipes in the kitchen freeze up, and I'm thinking if I insulate the hot pipes, because they're copper and they're naked for the most part. There's a little bit of insulation under there. You know, that maybe I can get hot water to all the sinks even faster when it doesn't have to change the temperature of all the surrounding everything and whatever, because it is a crawl space. It's cold. All right, so we're in the crawl space. I just wanted, so I ran my 6-gauge wire, and I didn't have any way to anchor it, so I use these. I don't know if that's vinyl or it's like the edging for like a table when you do the oh god, what is it? Let's look at these pipes. So the black ones that are insulated is the air conditioning. But here's the condition of my pipes. high probability that what it actually is asbestos, right? And it's all fallen off, and it's like that, you know, for most of the house under here. So I'm gonna try putting some foam on there and taping it up. All right, so I guess I have to do some asbestos remediation. Got a Dollar General bag, and I'll just try to carefully place it in there, not picking up too much dust. And then this stuff is, it's just so fragile. Hopefully, since I'm not mining it and grinding and cutting, there won't be a lot of dust production. This is some sort of, I think that's for termites. I mean, this really feels like cardboard. But asbestos, you know, it's fibrous, so it can probably be turned into anything. I remember seeing a documentary about asbestos curtains, fireproof curtains. Probably should have a respirator. I don't have a respirator. Yep, there we go. Asbestos remediation complete in Sector 1. I'm just going to be doing a whole bunch of this. And then I got my duct tape here. Oh, that's the ugliest tape job I've ever done ever. Must be because I'm nervous on camera. So see, we got so much going on here. We got the drain pipe with its elbow for the washing machine. Then we got the hot and the cold. And then we have the 6-gauge wire that's going to the heater. And then my little weird straps. And then I didn't do this, but you see this splice right here? This is the quality of electrical work. Is you know, they spliced in new circuits to the old wire and just taped it up. Yep, that's how we do things. I'm just taping it up, doing what I can. I'm gonna leave some of that old insulation alone if it's still there, but the stuff that's in really bad shape is coming down. So I got my N95 on. But it turns out this stuff is not as well insulated as I thought. Maybe some rodents or something got to it. So, I guess I gotta do these two. Alright, I've done a little bit more than I first thought I would. But I went ahead and I dug up and I put insulation on the hot all the way back to the instant heater. Pretty much got everything done now. The one upright, this is a cold water tap that I haven't insulated. You can see it's leaking. And where would this go? Oh yeah, this is to the toilet. Okay. So I need to fix that before I insulate it. So that'll be a different project. But other than that, I got everything insulated. So I found a calculator for electric heat, you know, the kilowatts needed to change, you know, water and temperature from a start temperature to an end temperature. And so just let's calculate this real quick. We got 1 gallon going from 54 degrees to 105 degrees Fahrenheit. And the period of time it has to do this is 1 minute. So we're doing 1 minute, 1 gallon per minute flow. And it needs, you know, 7,483 watts to do that. Now if we up the flow to 2 gallons, it takes, you know, 14,965 watts to change the temperature of 2 gallons of water in 1 minute. This calculator only does whole numbers, so we're going to switch to liters to try to, you know, get around 1.5 gallons. So a gallon is you know, 3.8 liters. So we're going to use a 6-liter calculation. That's close enough to 1.5 gallons. 6 liters, 1.5 gallons ish. Doing the same conversion. 11,000 860 watts. So that sort of proves what I figured out through trial and error, that this, 11.8 or 13 kilowatt unit, whatever the hell it is, can only change about 1.5 gallons per minute of water flow to the desired temperature that I set it at. But what I found is that 100 is totally adequate, and it actually brings it up to about 105. The 105 setting on the device brings it up to about 110. So, a little more than 1.5 gallons a minute, under 11,000 watts. I mean, that's exactly what I found that this unit can use. Okay, so the conclusion is very simple. This thing works, and I'm happy with it. I'm getting excellent showers, and I have enough hot water for everything I want to do, minus filling up the tub at 4 gallons a minute. I have to, if I want to run the tub, fill up the tub, I need to restrict the flow to get the heat up. But the main thing that I feel like on this journey I learned is the differences between, the marketing of a product and how it, so, oh, you live here, you'll get 2.1 gallons a minute. You say, oh wow, that sounds pretty great, And the difference between real world instruction manual knowledge. So here they have, the flow chart here. So if you look at the Eco 11, inlet temperature based off of gallons per minute that it flows. These still are a little bit, I think, on the hopeful side. See how it says 50 degrees is 1.6 gallons and 55 degrees is 1.8. We're right here. I think that's a little bit hopeful, but close to reality. And then where the real reality hits in is down here, where they're talking, if you have the Eco 11, and your inlet temperature is around 60, you could put on a flow regulator for 1.5 gallons a minute. But besides that, I don't know if I really want a flow regulator installed or not, because when the water inlet temperatures do rise, like during the summer, I'll be able to get probably 3 gallons a minute out of the tub if I want to fill it up on a summer day. And if I had a flow regulator limited to 1.5, it seems like it might be inconvenient or something. It's easy enough to bring your water usage into compliance with the heater, I think. But yeah, I don't think they were lying. And if they were stretching the truth, they just stretched it a little bit. I just had to wrap my head around what 1.5 gallons a minute really was. And it's pretty easy to do. Let me show you. If I wanted to bring this faucet into compliance with 1.5 gallons a minute, I could change the aerator. It's tight right now, but this aerator is rated at 2.2 gallons a minute. So I could just buy a new aerator that would restrict the amount of flow, and I could have that 1 gallon a minute from this tap. Easy enough to do. But the other way to do it is, instead of opening it full blast, just open it less than full. Something like that. It's not much difference. See the sound? It's that easy to bring it into compliance. And you can see the flow. It's a little bit obstructed. I'm still getting debris from, I guess, running water backwards through the hot water line. Still kicking up some stuff. So I'm still having to clean out all my aerators. I've only done it once so far, but looks like I'm going to have to do it again. They're getting a little clogged up. The final thing that I want to talk about is the price. So I bought this through my local Ace Hardware for, after tax, it was nearly $300. But, what was it? It was like $269.99 or something, store price. And, you know, that's reasonable enough. That's less than half the price of a tank hot water heater. But if you go online and you type in, you know, Ecosmart Eco 11 to the shopping tab of Google or something, a bunch of websites pop up. We can get them for $70 or $80. And I don't doubt, I don't doubt at all that you can buy, you know, they could manufacture and sell them for that price, because there's not a whole lot going on, especially if you're using, you know, child labor in China or something. Seems like, yeah, you know, it's like you could make them and sell them that price. But those websites, I just don't know. I've never bought from them, and I don't trust them, and I don't want to just, I mean, I've wasted more than $70 in this project. I probably should have just bought one just to see if it showed up or not. But you know, I don't know. The cheaper websites, I don't have any experience with those. But if you can get one of these for $70 from one of those websites, that'd be incredible. If you have an experience with those, I'd love to hear about it. You know, because maybe I'll buy the replacement one for this one for $70. You know, now that all the hard work's done, swapping out a new one is going to be just like a 20-minute project. So, anyways, I hope that was useful, and I'm happy with it. It's part of a longer plan I have to use less energy and save some money. You know, I've put in my mini split. I've insulated my house. I've changed my windows. You know, I've the only gas things I have is my central furnace is gas, but it's a redundant heat. I also have the mini splits, and it's not a central air furnace. It's an old school like wall furnace that just uses, you know, the natural convection of the heat to circulate the air, and it works great in this little house of mine. You know, I've also switched out my stove for electric, so I've sort of been electrifying my whole house, even though I don't trust the Texas grid to always be reliable. But you know, I don't know. It's just whatever, the environment and whatever. You know, it's like if we're gonna you know, have less impact on climate change or something, you know, I don't think we can do it by burning natural gas in our walls. I think they can find more efficiencies at the power plants. You know, some sort of, you know, efficiency through scale or something than directly using it in our homes. I don't know. But yeah, anyways, yep, y'all have a great day. Peace, y'all.